Skirt, skirt. Told you we always been ready. I don't need people that's petty, that weigh on me heavy while I'm being steady. I need a record with Felly. We get it bouncing like Betty's, I feel like I'm Nelly. Don't bring the beef like a deli. It's leave on that levy, no sleeping on me like I'm Freddy. Chris Breeze, how I do, hit him with the moves. Left hand step back, ballin' like I'm Coos. All faith, God's plan, you just gotta choose. God slaps, nothing left to prove. Y'all gotta leave me alone. Lately I've been in my zone. Told them no cap like I fitted, but lately the flows have been straight off the dome. I feel like I'm MVP, like my name Patty Mahomes. If it ain't about money, don't hit up my phone, cause lately I've been in my zone.
Hello, welcome to the Capwise Show, hosted by Ben Carey and Nick Gronerad, combining expert human opinions with cutting-edge simulation models to help you arrive at the best picks each week. Inside Edge Community. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's stream. We've got college basketball action coming at you. And as I'm sure many of you already know, we have a new special guest joining us, Mr. Krabs. How's it going?
Going on, guys? Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so tell the people a little bit about yourself. I think a large part of the audience came up from your following, but for anybody who's here from Capwise who might not be familiar with Krabs, tell us who you are.
Yeah, so I'm just a kid with a dream, trying to hit some bets, to be completely honest. Nothing crazy. Probably the most contrarian better you'll find. The least the bet makes sense, the more I like it, to be honest. You'll understand that when I go over my play of the day today. But just trying to give the people some winners, because it's hard enough as it is hitting bets, going against these books. So let's hopefully we can craft up some winners on the stream today, man. I'm really excited.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just talking right before the stream started. You're a Virginia Tech guy. Your shirt, Virginia Tech.
Yes, sir.
You got a big game today. That's not not on our card, but real quick, what are your thoughts on that?
For sure. I mean, VT plus 1.5, I think, is a great play. If we could shoot, I mean, we have some great players, to be completely honest. We were projected to finish pretty high in the ACC, and they've kind of looked like crud to start out the season, to be completely honest. So I think we're definitely due for some positive regression tonight. If we hit our shots against this UVA team that really can't score, it might be an absolute bloodbath. We could beat them by 20. It just really comes down to if we're hitting our threes or not. And we're kind of due for a game where we just kind of pop off. So I really like the Hokies plus 1.5 tonight. I know it's a UVA. I know they own us in basketball, although we completely own them in football. I had to throw that in there. But I think the Hokies take it tonight. They're honestly just a better team this year. They really are.
Yeah, no, definitely a down year for UVA, which most people are excited to see.
Scares me a little bit because Tony Bennett might pull out some magic tonight, and they could just come out with some weird, crafty defense. But we'll see what happens because he is one of the best coaches in college.
Yeah,
kind of like the under. That number is just fun to bet the under. You give me a number like that,
it's like 118, isn't it? What is it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think that's what I thought last night.
I mean, VT has a really good defense. They play. Mike Young has that team playing great defense. UVA, you already know, plays great defense. For me, the under makes too much sense. Like I said before, I'm extremely contrarian. I kind of like the over tonight, to be completely honest, because if we're hitting our shots, like that 118 number, it's going to go over easily, to be honest.
Yeah, Tech's going to put up 120 on their own.
They could. That'd be something, wouldn't it? That'd be sick.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and hop into the regularly scheduled programming. So here's a quick rundown of how the stream works for college basketball. So we have 5 categories, as you can see. For each of these categories, or at least the first 4 categories, I should say, we have a game that we've picked that fits in that category. So we have 4 games that are interesting for 4 different reasons. And then the last category is our best bets, where we're going to go through the top bet of the day. So let's go ahead and get started with the first category.
Degenerates only.
I was looking at Ball Sack State -4 against Dickhead State. Ball Sacks covered their last 10 straight games, and my boy says they're a wagon.
All right, gentlemen. So for our degenerates only bet, also I forgot to update the videos to the new ones on this, but that's okay. We're talking about the latest tip-off of the day, which is going to be actually a pretty good game. The first 2 Degens only games that we've done have been just shit games between shit teams. This is not one of them. We have the game between the Boise State Broncos and the Nevada Wolfpack, tipping off at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. A lot of people are going to be going to bed, but for those of us who want to stay up and catch a little late night sweat, this is the game for you. Nevada is at home, favored by 1 point. As you can see, we have a live DraftKings odds feed up on the screen. Over under this game is set at 146. As part of the stream, another thing that we do is we have a poll that runs. So there's a poll up right now. Everybody be sure to go vote. Let your voices be heard. What do you like in this game? We'll throw up the majority or plurality audience vote as a lean up on the screen. So gentlemen, have at it.
Should I take it?
Take it.
All right. Well, this is basically two teams that have a chance to win the Mountain West. I think Boise State probably much more than Nevada. I like this Boise State team just throughout all of non-conference and just watching them. I think they're top tier in the Mountain West type of team. I think Nevada's probably on that second tier, but obviously Boise State going on the road here is going to make it a little bit more difficult. I think my lean here though is Boise State. I like this defense. I think they're top 25 in KenPom, and I think they can slow down Nevada in this game.
I'm actually on the other side, and I might be betting this to be completely honest. We'll see. But I like the Wolfpack tonight. Boise's won 6 games in a row. They've covered 5 games in a row. They haven't played in like 2 weeks. I know they're 10-4, and Nevada's 7-5. I know Nevada's home, but they're favored against a team with a better record. That's a little sketchy to me. Give me the Wolfpack tonight. Nevada hasn't covered in 3 straight games. They're 4-7 against the spread. I think they're due for a cover tonight, to be completely honest. Grant Sherfield is actually kind of a bucket for the Wolfpack. Expect him to go off tonight. Keep them in the game. I think it's going to be a heavyweight battle, to be completely honest. It's going to be going back and forth, probably a lot of score changes. Maybe don't put the game on until the second half unless you want to get extra stressed out like I do. But this will be a great game, to be completely honest. It's a great matchup. But yeah, give me the Wolfpack -1 at home.
Yeah, I'm on the Broncos here.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of this Boise State team. I think they play really tough defense. I think it's hard to score on them. I think this Nevada team at home can be a little tough. But ultimately, I'm a model guy. Krabs and I think actually on games like this, we often end up on the opposite side of each other.
Yeah.
Just because of the contrarian, and I guess maybe I don't like to think that the model is square per se. Also, TSL. No. Model has Boise State winning this game by 4.
Damn.
So I like Boise here, but I think it's going to be close. This isn't a game that I have any action on. As far as the total is concerned, Model has this one down at 139 or 140.
It seemed awfully high to me.
Yeah, it does. It does seem a little high. So I think that I'm going to go with the under, at least as a lean. Although I think I'd like Boise State to cover a little bit more, actually.
It doesn't worry you that they haven't played in 2 weeks?
Not really. I think that we've seen a lot of teams over the last couple of years have COVID breaks and actually kind of come out of it for the better. They're a little bit more well rested. They have more time to prepare for the opposition that they're going to be facing. I think Illinois a week or two ago against Minnesota is a pretty prime example of this. Illinois had a really long COVID break. A lot of people were on Minnesota for that exact reason. But I mean, Illinois was just the more talented team, and you got them at a good number because of the break.
I do agree with you. Sometimes the break helps. Like these teams struggle early, and then they get the COVID break. It's almost like a season reset. I've noticed that as well. So you might be completely right. Boise could come out firing tonight. Who knows? But honestly, this is a coin flip game. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it should be a great game if you like Mountain West basketball or even really good mid-major game. I think this is a great game.
Give me any basketball game at 10:30, and I'm gonna love it. I don't care who it is or what's playing, where they're playing, who it is. I'm watching it. I'm probably betting it. So give me the Wolfpack tonight.
Yeah, and Chase, one more time. What was your lean?
I'll go Boise. I like the under too. I'm same size as you, I guess, in this game.
All right. So I'm gonna take a quick look at the poll. So the poll, we have a lot of people on the under here. So we have 48% on Nevada to cover and the under, 10% on Nevada and the over. So 58% of the audience is on Nevada, but more than 80% of the audience is on the under. So I'm going to go ahead
Nothing
and
like
throw up-
sweating a late night under too that you have to grind all the way to
Yeah, I
This is
mean,
the best.
12:30 Eastern.
This will keep you young.
for sure. I mean, so with an under, you're forcing yourself to watch the whole game, right? You can't win an under until the buzzer goes off.
I mean, you're talking to an under guy. I'm an under guy at heart. I get chirped for it all the time. Everyone wants to take the over. That's why That's why I'm an under guy. So
Yeah,
I'm with you on that.
No, I'm a big under guy as well.
Yeah,
I think I bet 6 unders today and no overs.
especially in football too. Give me a 6-3 game. I don't care. give me a battle.
All right, yeah. So poll is settled. It definitely looks like the under is the victor in the battle here. All right, so game number 2.
Public intoxication.
Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype.
So in our public intoxication game for today, we're going to the ACC. In what I think instantly jumped out at a lot of people as being a kind of sketchy trap line. And that is the game between Duke and Wake Forest. Wake Forest is at home. They are 6-point underdogs at this point. I think this opened up at Duke minus 4.5. Money's come in on Duke, and it's moved to 6. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see this move by another point or so throughout the day. So Chase, for anybody who doesn't know, Chase works for Action Network. Where is the money at in this game?
Well, it's going to be no surprise. It's all over Duke. It's really the public. 81% of the public right now. It was much higher even earlier today. It was higher 80s. And Duke's getting 63% of the money. So it seems like a game that is pretty much sharps versus squares. That's just typical. Nobody really knows about this Wake Forest team. They really haven't played anybody. I've watched quite a bit of this Wake Forest team. There's a CU transfer actually on this team, Dallas Walton, so that's made me want to watch them. But nobody knows much about Wake Forest, and then Duke is obviously Duke. So public loves Duke, which makes me have a feeling on what Krabs bet is going to be here.
I mean, you already know I'm on Wake. Give me a break. Come on. Everyone's betting Duke. I think generally just fading Duke is always the right side. Like if you faded Duke every single game, I think you'd make money. To be honest, it's just like the Cowboys. It's just like the Yankees. Like these teams, there's that thing called the Yankee juice or whatever, where when they're minus 110 or when they're minus 130, they're really supposed to be minus 120. But the books can get away with that because everyone wants to bet them. Duke has that too in college basketball, where they're just always so good that everyone likes to bet them. They always get the public money. I don't know if I'm going to bet this game yet, but I definitely lean Wake Forest plus 6. And Nick, I agree that I do think the line is probably going to move to maybe 6.5 at least. But I think this Wake Forest team can play. They're 13-3. I know they haven't played a lot of really good teams yet, and it worries me a little bit for sure that Duke is coming off that loss to Miami. Coach K is probably going to have those kids playing tough tonight. I'm sure they were in the doghouse after that loss. But this is a rivalry game for Wake Forest. This is their biggest game of the year. Duke is their rival. They're going to come out to play. This is like their Super Bowl. So give me the points at home. And they've also got this kid, Alanis Williams, who averages 20 points a game. The Oklahoma transfer. That kid's legit. He's a senior. I'm sure he wants to beat Duke before he goes out the door. So give me Wake with the points at home. I think it's a no-brainer. I don't know if I'm betting it, but for sure take the points and don't be a square and take Duke on this line here.
So I'm maybe not so surprisingly again. I think this is just going to be how this stream is going to go, right? Krabs and I are going to be on opposite sides of everything. I like Duke here. I can't lie. I locked in Duke actually at minus 4.5 last night. I definitely like it a little bit less at 6. I don't know if I've actually bet it at 6. And there's a reason for that. So, I mean, there's a couple reasons for that. So, one, the model, maybe not so surprisingly, likes Duke here. I have Duke by about 14.
Whoa.
Winning this game. I'm with you, though. I like this Wake Forest team. They had one of my favorite mid-major players in the entire country last year, Jake LaRavia from Indiana State, is on this Wake Forest team. He's an absolute beast. I love him. Alondas Williams, like you said, is good. But I think that the issue that this Wake Forest team is going to have is the rebounding and interior defense of Duke. Duke has played a couple other teams that try and run a lot through the post. Good teams, a team like Gonzaga, who Duke knocked off. And it really like negatively affected them. Duke has some fantastic interior defenders, and I think that with the fact that 4 of Wake Forest's top leading scorers, 4 of their top 6 leading scorers are, at least wings, if not pure post players. I think that it's a little bit of a matchup issue for Wake Forest.
Yeah, I could definitely see that for sure. I mean, it's Duke versus Wake Forest. Like, it's not even the recruits don't even compare at all. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not extremely familiar with your guys' model. Is of Duke to win by 14 points? Is that a big deal? Is that like a lot? Is that like a huge red flag? Is that a must bet for you guys?
So for us, what makes something a bet with the model is unless there's any glaring red flags, like an injury or something, that because the model can't take player injuries. The college basketball model, at least, can't take player injuries directly into account. It's different with pro sports where it can. But we like to see a 7-point gap between what the model says and what Vegas says. And we have at this point nearly 1,000 games worth of data over the last couple of seasons that say if we see that kind of gap, we can expect to hit it 55-56%.
I mean, that's fire. That makes me I think keep a Wake bet slip in my pocket and not bet. So, but I still lean Wake. But that model thing scares me. The computers, I mean, they're just smarter. You know.
I like Nick getting in at 4.5, but I'm with Krabs that you can't be getting caught betting with the squares in this game at 6.5 or something. This will be Duke's second true road game of the season. Their first road game was that game against Ohio State that they lost, that they just absolutely collapsed in the second half. So they really haven't been tested much on the road, and I kind of do like Wake in this game.
Yeah.
Maybe sprinkle a little money line.
If Duke hadn't lost to Miami, I think there's a good look there to take the money line. But the fact that they lost to Miami hurts.
It's tough because Wake Forest hasn't played anybody. They haven't played anybody this year, so we have no idea how to judge. We have no idea how to tell how good this team really is. We have no clue. Like, are they a real 13-3 or are they fraudulent? And I guess tonight we find out. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're gonna definitely learn a lot about this Wake Forest team. A lot of talent.
I mean, they could get blown out by 20. Who knows? It's Duke, you know, but you're not going to find me betting on Duke.
All right, so I'm going to take a quick look at the poll results here. We had about 40 votes. Duke -6 in the over was the winner by plurality at 41%. I think overall, though, we had more votes on Wake Forest than on Duke. 53% on Wake Forest. That's 18 votes compared to 16 on Duke against the spread. And I guess since the spread is the main point of this category, because that's where the public money is coming in on Duke, I'm going to go ahead and throw up Wake Forest as the audience lean here. Although the audience does like the over quite a bit with 17 out of the 24 votes.
Okay. I think we did a pretty good sell job there, Chase.
Yeah. Good work.
I'm willing to be wrong. And again, I feel a lot more comfortable at 4.5 than 6.
Over's also getting a ton of money. 99% right now. So.
99% of the money on the over.
That usually means that there's one big high roller that's all over the over in this game.
Okay. Which is good and bad, you know.
Yeah, it means they probably got in at a good number. And now the number's bad.
Right.
All right, so let's take a move on to category number 3.
Court streakers.
We're going streaking! Yes!
And for our court streakers game, we have a game featuring not one but 2 teams that are on some sort of streak. One of them is a good streak. One of them is a bad streak. This is the game between the Minnesota Golden Gophers and the Michigan State Spartans. Michigan State favored by 11.5 points at home in this game. Michigan State straight up has won 8 straight games. Minnesota has lost their last 4 against the spread. So I don't know if Wiley, our big Michigan State guy, is in the stream, but he's been talking about this game a lot. So Michigan State had their big rivalry game against Michigan scheduled for a couple days ago. But that game did not get played. Some Michigan State fans, some might call them conspiracy theorists, say that Michigan tried to dodge the game. I don't really buy into that.
Michigan was favored in the game, right?
Yeah, I think, and I was very close to hammering Michigan. I woke up, I was pretty upset, to be completely honest. That line made 0 sense. Michigan was -2.
I don't think the market's adjusted to Michigan.
No.
That's one team I don't think you can be contrarian on because they're bad.
I mean, that's the hardest team to handicap in college basketball right now, I think.
Right.
Right? I mean, who knows what kind of team you're getting with that Michigan team, you know?
They've given me I've made some money on their last 2 games because they keep on giving me points with the team that they're playing.
Sure.
So, gentlemen, any thoughts on this one?
I'll let Krabs go. Let's see what his thoughts are.
I mean, this game is ridiculous. There's no way I'm betting this game, to be honest. I lean Minnesota and the points, obviously, the Golden Gophers. Just because Michigan State's won 8 games in a row. Minnesota hasn't covered 4 games in a row. So that's enough for me right there to already like Minnesota. But I'm not sure if this Minnesota team is very good, to be completely honest. I know Jamison Battle's pretty good. That kid can score. I think he can keep it within 11 points. I don't really know. I mean, Michigan State is a powerhouse. But I've seen Michigan State come out flat before. So I don't know what team we're going to get tonight. I don't like the Michigan State's at home. But I definitely lean Golden Gophers plus 11.5. Give me those points. It is a conference game, you know?
Yeah, that it is. Chase, what are your thoughts?
This is a tough game for me. I just have no good feeling about really either side in this game. Michigan State's pretty good basketball team.
Yeah.
I didn't know about them at the beginning of the year just because of how they finished last year, and it didn't seem like they brought back that much talent. But they look like a pretty good basketball team, and they already have a big win over UConn. Their one really bad loss to Baylor, which obviously you're allowed to lose to Baylor. So I think if I had a bet in this game, it'd be Michigan State. Minnesota really struggles rebounding the basketball, and I kind of think that's where Michigan State's going to get the advantage, get some offensive rebounds, and get some extra possessions. I think that's how they end up covering the 11-12, but I do not feel great about this game.
Was this Minnesota team the one that all their starting 5 transferred before the season?
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought they were going to be terrible, and they've actually been a little bit better than I thought.
They're 10-3, correct?
Yeah, we've actually seen several teams that are really mainly or entirely composed of transfers have a lot of success this year. We just talked about Wake Forest in that last game. They're a team where their top several guys are all transfers. Iowa State is another team that's looked phenomenal this year that has pretty much their entire roster made up of transfers.
It's another team that I just cannot get a grip on, to be completely honest. That team keeps burning me, but gosh. But yeah, props to Minnesota, man, for being 10-3 with a completely new team. I think everyone had them finishing at the bottom of their conference going into the year, so props to them. But that kind of tells me that maybe they get blown out tonight. You know?
Yeah, I think this.
I like the way Crab's brain works.
Yeah, I like the way.
Like, oh, maybe Minnesota's good. They're probably going to get blown out.
I got a weird brain, man. I'll tell you that. If you can't, you've already picked up on that with how I bet. So
man, it's a true gambler's brain. It's somebody that has bet on a lot of games. It's not your typical. Yeah.
You won't find people who bet on many more games than me at this point. So I've seen it all.
Love it.
Yeah. So for me, I actually kind of like Michigan State here as well. I think that Minnesota has. I mean, they had that one win against Michigan in conference play earlier this year, but they haven't looked great in Big Ten play. They did actually play against Michigan State earlier this year. That game was in Minnesota. Michigan State won that game by 8. It was a 75-67 game. Minnesota's 2 most recent games against Illinois and against Indiana. They lost to Indiana by 13. They lost to Illinois by 23. I think that this is a team that might be a little bit overrated based on their 10-3 record. I don't think that they've beat all that many impressive teams. I mean, the Michigan win is probably a good win. Again, though, how good is Michigan? Probably not that good. They beat Mississippi State, who I think is a solid team. And
Yeah.
aside from that, they haven't really beat anybody who's good.
I'm getting very similar vibes with this Minnesota side right now as I am with the Wake Forest side. I just think we just don't know enough about these teams.
Yeah.
You know, I think we'll know a lot more after the games tonight, which tells me probably don't bet it. See what happens tonight, and going forward, you'll have a way better idea of how good these teams actually are. Because I guarantee you, one of these two teams, Minnesota or Wake Forest, one of these two teams are frauds. And I think we probably tonight. I think one of those two teams probably get blown out tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And if I had to venture which one it is, I think it's Minnesota. That's the fraud.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
I'm a believer. Even though I like Duke tonight, I'm a believer in that Wake Forest team. I think that they have.
I'm with you. I like Wake Forest more than I like Minnesota for sure.
Yeah. So let's take a look and see what the chat thinks about this game. 31 votes. 18 of them on Michigan State minus the points. 13 of them on Minnesota plus the points. So the chat lean is going to be Michigan State.
What does the model have this game at?
That's a good question. What does the model have this game at? The model has this game at Michigan State by 15. Definitely not a game that I want to put any money on. I want to make that clear.
I think it's unbettable. I do.
Yeah. Potentially a
I
live
think we all agree there. I think that's the consensus of us three.
Yeah, can we just
Don't
mark
bet
this
on
one down as a push?
Yeah. Yeah. Disclaimer. Don't put a lot of money on this game.
For sure. Little units on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But Michigan State has won 8 games in a row. And what are they going to win? They're not going to win out the rest of the year. Who knows?
Yeah. And also, I want to make a quick comment to the chat. I know there's a lot of people here, a lot more people than usual. We try and keep this community very positive. If you have problems with me, or you have a problem with Ben, or with Chase, or with Krabs, or with anybody who's ever on the stream, just keep your mouth to yourself, please. I know a lot of people in Trent's stream can get away with trolling and saying a lot of stupid shit. We try and keep that out of this chat. So, positive vibes only. Please.
GVO.
GVO. Good vibes only.
Yep. So, on to category number 4. Also, if anybody wants to say some shit, go on to Trent's stream. Or come into Kobe's stream at night. And you can put your face on camera and say some shit.
Don't let them get to you, Nick. That's what they
No,
want you to do, man.
I'm fine. I couldn't care less. All right. So, on to category number 4.
Game of the day.
The ball is tipped, and there you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting star.
So for our game of the day, where else could we go than the only game between two ranked teams today? We have number 14 Villanova going on the road to number 17 Xavier. Xavier, 1.5 point favorites at home. Over under in this game is set at 137. And yeah, Dodger FC in the chat just said this game is so spooky too. I could not agree more.
Can I say something real quick?
Please, because I want somebody
Chat.
else to start. Oh,
Chat, vote on this game without listening to our words. I'm genuinely curious of what you guys lean without us talking. Can we put the poll out now before we
poll is
start
already
talking?
out.
Okay, word. Because I want to know what the public's on, because this game has my brain rattled, to be completely honest.
Yeah, so maybe we can start this out with Chase telling us a little bit about what kind of action we're seeing kind of out in the nether on this game.
Interesting enough, the public percentage is the same number as the money, so 61% on Xavier for both money and public, which means that this might not be a game that sharps are that interested in betting at all. That's usually what I take away when the numbers look like that. which is kind of goes along with what you guys are saying, that this is a confusing game to bet on.
It's definitely a little surprising to me that Xavier's getting more money, to be completely honest. I figure people just blindly just take Nova because they're Nova.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like people are probably a little bit soured on Nova because they suffered a couple bad beats earlier in
frauds.
the year. Yeah, I mean, and there's not a whole lot of people who are actually Villanova fans. I think there's just a lot of people who respect the Villanova basketball program. And as soon as that rug of trust is pulled out from under them, I'm not so surprised actually that Xavier's seeing some money here. Nothing says this game is split more than the fact that all four of the options, splitting up the two ways you can bet the side and the two ways you can bet the total, all have at least 12 votes, and none of the categories have more than 25.
Okay, that's pretty expected, right?
Yeah, everybody is all over the place on this game. So who wants to take the leap of faith?
I can go first. I really like this Xavier team. I've liked them pretty much all season long. Paul Scruggs is probably one of my favorite players in college basketball. I think their starting five is good enough to be one of the top teams in the nation. I worry a little bit about their depth. I think I would lean Xavier, but the bet that I really like in this game is the over. It's actually been going down, which is kind of weird. I think it opened at 139. We're down to 138. I just think that this game can get into a high-scoring battle, especially in the second half. I mean, I can see both these teams kind of finishing somewhere in the 70s.
Yeah, so the model thinks that this is going to be a really tight game. Again, Vegas line is Xavier minus 1.5. I have Xavier by 3. So barely a Xavier cover, but that's something where one or two possessions at the end of the game can completely flip the script. Model has a total at 134 compared to the total of 137. Again, though, that's a situation where you might get a couple fouls in the last 30 seconds that flip that from an over to an under. So not something that I'm really confident in either. I think if I had to choose a side here, because I do, right? This is my stream. I have to say that I like something. I'm gonna take Xavier here. Actually, no. I'm gonna go against Chase, actually. And I'm gonna take the under.
Okay. I thought we were about to have a consensus break there.
Dodger, you scared me. You know what I'll do? I'm gonna throw up both. I ain't no bitch.
Or
you can throw up both for me too.
You can just throw up Xavier for me. I don't know enough about this game to be completely honest. I'll give you my little pitch of what I've researched. I think this Nova team is pretty fraudulent, to be completely honest. I think it's one of the worst teams they've had in a while. I mean, I respect the shit out of Jay Wright. I think that dude is a menace. He's a great coach. But this team completely depends on Colin Gillespie. And if they can lock him up, I think Villanova is toast, to be completely honest. If he's driving and he's getting double teams, I think they're going to really struggle to score tonight. Nova's also won and covered 4 games in a row. So that's something to keep in mind. And they just recently beat Xavier by 13. So it could be a revenge spot here for Xavier at home. For Xavier here. I think this line, honestly, it tells me bet the line, not the teams, and take Xavier. But, Chase, it definitely worries me a little bit. You were saying there's already more action on Xavier, so that kind of throws that theory out the window for me. But I definitely lean Xavier.
Just a little bit, though. 60-40 is not that bad.
Nothing crazy. It's nothing crazy. But I never want to be on the side of the public. I'll be completely honest. I love the public, but I never want to be on the same betting side as them, to be completely honest. So that makes me want to kind of stay away from this game. I'm thinking about betting Xavier. I'm going to feel it out and see where the money ends up closer to tip. But I do agree that I think the Xavier team and their starting 5, they could definitely hang with Nova for sure.
Yeah, and I think this is an interesting point of discussion to kind of just tail off of what you said. Never wanting to be on the side of the public. I think that there's a couple different betting strategies that we employ. So my objective is always to get my money in before the public has placed any bets in the first place.
Smart.
And just being confident enough that I can get ahead of the line move, like with Duke, for example. And I don't know. I've been talking to people in other chats and other streams, and it seems to be another really common thing for people to do is to kind of watch for line moves and use that as information.
I think there's two ways to do it. I think the smart way is the way you do it, and it's you get the value the night before. I'm the opposite. I like to see, like you said, I like to see where the money goes throughout the day. That's not everything for me and my system, but that's a huge chunk is where the money's at for sure. Mm-hmm. When I see a team that I like and a line that I like and public money on the other side, those are kind of my three big factors that I look at, with a couple other things as well. But I agree that I think you're probably doing it the right way, bet it the night before. That's how the pros do it. Is they get that early number, they find the value themselves. So I think that's the right way to do it. I like to wait till the last second, keep it interesting, and see what the money is. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and there's definitely pros and cons. I don't think that there's like a right way and a wrong way. I think it's important to have a discussion about it and say like this is like a lot of different pieces of information that you can use and that you can leverage effectively.
For sure. I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to click the right button on the screen. That's what it comes down to. You know, it's gambling. That's what's so great about it, to be completely honest.
Yeah. Dodger, I see that massive message. Can you post that in our Discord or like message that to me somewhere? I can't read all that right now. I usually try and be more interactive with the chat, but there's a lot of people here. Chat's moving fast. I can't read out every message. But appreciate everybody for being here. This is awesome. And thank you to all of the follows. I'll try and read all those out at the end. It's another thing that we try and do is read out every single follow, but it's kind of impossible right now at the rate that they're coming in. So real quick, before we move on to our individual bets of the day, I want to say two things. So one, for the bet of the day poll, I'm going to need you guys in the chat to tell me what your favorite bets of the day are. I'm going to take 5 options, hopefully options that I see pop up a couple times, and throw them in the poll and have you guys vote on them. So start typing away. And the second thing is let's go over some poll results for that Villanova-Xavier game. Again, this was super, super tight. Oh, actually, it looks like down the stretch, Xavier and the over kind of pulled away. 41% of the votes just on that as it is.
Hey,
Xavier overall had 60%. The over had 62%. So I will throw up Xavier and the over. Audience is with Chase here. So
man of the people.
Yeah, man of the people. So looking at some of your comments for top bets, I'm seeing Florida -2.5, Santa Clara -6, Central Florida +1.5, Tulsa money line, whatever Krabs is on, not a bad option. Colorado State -5.5, Missouri +14.5, Colorado State. So that's 2 votes for Colorado State.
I want to know what your opinion is on this Colorado State team in this game tonight. To be completely honest, I know they're coming off their first loss of the season. What do you think about that game?
I think it's going to be a good game. I like this Colorado State team. I mean, are they a top 25 team in the country? I don't really think so.
No.
But are they a team that can make a Sweet 16 in March? I think absolutely.
Okay, good to know.
With the right matchups.
Yeah,
right?
with the right matchups, and if they get hot, which they can get as hot as anybody in the country.
Yeah, I mean, they were undefeated until the other day, so.
I saw Brock Miller's out for Utah State tonight. I think that's pretty important. He's one of their better wings, really good 3-point shooter.
What's the line in that game right now?
5.5?
Yeah, 5.5 for Colorado State. So I'm seeing Clemson +2.5 or +3, getting a couple comments. Somebody says Virginia Tech spread. Duquesne -2 has had 2 different people say it. I will throw.
I like Duquesne tonight. I do.
Good old Duquesne. I'm seeing a St. John's, 2 St. John's. What is that number at right now? Is that at 10?
I thought 11, but it could be 10.
I know it was 11.5 last night. Okay, yeah, it's 11 right now. And looking for one more. All right, I've seen NC State +6.5 twice.
St. John's is a pretty big public play today, by the way. 77%.
That's why the audience likes it. So thank you all for your for your feedback. Of course, if I could put more than 5 things in the poll, I would, but I only have 5 spots. So go vote on those. So yeah, gonna play the intro for Bet of the Day real quick.
Big Brain plays.
Come on. Think. Brain blast!
So Krabs, you are the guest of honor today. Why don't you start us out? What is your favorite bet today?
So let me preface this first. I'm not a big 2-unit, 3-unit, 4-unit, 5-unit guy. I'm a big bet half unit, a third of a unit. I like to keep it small. I do have a 2-unit play today though, and those are not very common. Florida minus 2.5. This line makes no sense, and I know Pinson's out, but to be completely honest, I think Pinson being out tonight means more than the 4-point line shift that happened overnight. LSU opened up, I think they're minus 2, and now Florida's minus 2.5. That's 4.5 point swing. I think Pinson's worth more than that. That kid can ball, and I really think that LSU is going to struggle moving the ball without him. Everyone's talking about this LSU defense. Florida has a great defense too. They have a top 25 rated defense as well. They can play. LSU turns the ball over a ton, and Florida forces turnovers on defense a ton. So I think it's a great matchup here for Florida. LSU is going to be relying on their sophomore guard, Eric Gaines, and their freshman guard, Justice Williams, tonight to ball handle, and I think that's a serious issue with Florida's defense. I think they're really going to struggle moving the ball around, and that's a tough ask for the freshman and sophomore to be running the team in the O-Dome tonight in Florida. LSU is also 12-3 against the spread tonight, or just on the season, and they've covered 4 out of 5. Florida's 1-4 against the spread in their last 5, with 2 tough losses at Auburn and Bama. Those are 2 really good teams that they just played, so they'll be ready to go. And they'll be prepped. And LSU's coming off of 2 big wins at Tennessee and Kentucky. So I think there's some positive aggression coming from McKissick in Florida tonight, shooting-wise. They haven't shot the rock well at all this year. I think they're due to go off. And I think that the guards on Florida match up really well with this LSU team. I'm buying Florida low here, and I'm selling LSU high. I know Pinson's out. It makes the game weird, but I absolutely love Florida in this spot here, minus 2.5 at home. I'm hammering it. I think it's a great bet. Yeah, that's my pitch on Florida. Go Gators.
Yeah, so
that was a hell of a pitch.
That was a hell of a pitch. So do you like Florida at 3? Because the line has moved.
Yeah, I like them at whatever. I don't give a shit. I like them at minus 10.
Take it minus 30.5.
Take it all on.
Yeah, this is the downside of getting in early. Is sometimes your favorite pick at an early number, like a Florida +1 or a Florida +1.5 or something, and then you love it and you're like, I'm going to talk about this one tomorrow, and then the line moves so much that some of the value disappears. But I think with the injury narrative, I think that we're seeing the number kind of settle more or less where it should have been in the first place.
I agree, and I bricked last night. It opened up at, I think Florida was like +1 or +2 or whatever it was. And I told everyone to hold. I was like, wait, all the money's going to come in on LSU. We might get a better number here. And I think the money, Chase, you can back me up on this. I think the money is on LSU, but there's some reverse line movement on this. Am I correct?
I think public is LSU, but money's Florida. Yeah, 69% of the public on LSU, but
handles on
38% of the money. Yeah, 62% Florida handle.
I mean, that makes me like Florida even more, to be completely honest.
I'm sure a lot of that came in with the Pinson news. A lot of the money.
Yeah, well, what's the Pinson news? We should have known that ahead of time because he got hurt in LSU's last game. So that wasn't breaking or anything.
I was reading up on it. I think he honestly could play tonight. It looks like they're holding him out. They want him to play on Saturday. I forget who they play on Saturday, but they have a really big matchup coming up, and I think they want him ready to go then. So they're holding him out. But I think he could have played. It's not a serious injury. It's a grade 1 sprain. So he could have played tonight. But their coach said that the other day. I think that's why the line moved overnight. I think the coach came out and said yesterday he wasn't going to play.
Gotcha. All right. So, Chase.
Yeah, well, I take it a lot of our viewers weren't watching on Saturday because a lot of them are here for crabs. But I had a very similar pick on Saturday. Wrong team favored in the Pac-12 situation. It was Utah, Washington State. Washington State went on the road at Utah, won very easily, over 10 points, between 10 and 20 points. We have that same situation in the Pac-12 tonight in California and Washington. California has to travel to Washington. Washington's a 2-point favorite, and I just think Cal is the much better team here. And Cal should be the team that's favored. I was at the Washington CU game on Sunday. Washington's just terrible. And they don't have the size to be able to compete with some of these teams in the Pac-12. And Cal actually has some athleticism in their front court. And Cal's a much better team than a lot of people expected this year. They already have a couple big wins. And I think they handle this pretty bad Washington team pretty easily.
What's up with the line shift? It looks like it opened up at Cal -1.5. And people hammered Washington.
Yeah, I guess early action, but I was looking at the numbers recently, and it's pretty 50-50.
That's what I'm saying. It's sketch. It sketches me out a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's actually it's moved back a little bit. So at least on the DraftKings feed that we have up, showing Cal +1.5.
Yep. Okay. It might be.
I like them as an underdog. We'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
Anything plus money.
I'm with you, Chase.
Here we go, crabs.
Here we go.
There it is. Little consensus. So I am going completely off the board here. This is a really random ass pick, but this is one I really like. I am taking a SoCon under as my favorite play of the game, favorite play of the day, and that is going to be the under 145.5. At least was the number that I looked at last time. Most recently in the Samford and Wofford game. So Wofford is a really good team. For anybody who hasn't watched Wofford play, I mean they've been a team that's made the NCAA tourney a couple times in the last decade or so. Your guy actually, Storm Murphy, at Virginia Tech.
I was going to say Virginia Tech's head coach.
Mike Young. Mike Young, the popcorn fanatic. He came from Wofford and brought his boys over here. So Hunter Couture, Keve Aluma, Storm Murphy. He brought his boys over.
Yeah.
It's a love-hate relationship with me and Storm Murphy, man. That's a combo for another time. But the boys, a lot of talent, not a lot of consistency. Yeah.
But so here is the reason why I like this one. So Wofford is a really good team though. They play really slow. They play slow and they rely a lot on 3-pointers. They take somewhere around 45% of their shots. I don't have the exact number up, but 45% of their shots from 3. Samford plays a very unique defensive style. They play a very high pressure zone, like matchup zone defense, which like the sole aim of it is to put tons and tons of pressure on perimeter shooters. The Samford team knocked off Ole Miss earlier in the year, basically by befuddling them. They just run the shot clock out and jack up a bad 3. Was it like every other possession from Ole Miss. And I think with the combination of the fact that Wofford kind of likes to play slow as it is, and they rely on a lot of threes, I think that's the recipe for slow tempo, not a lot of possessions, and a lot of empty possessions. On the other end, Samford is similar in the fact that they shoot a lot of threes. In fact, I think they shoot actually more than, or not more, but nearly, again, 50% of their shots from deep. Wofford's a really, really solid defense. In the same way that Samford is. It's not a pressure matchup zone, but it still is a good defense. And I think that both of these teams are going to be a little less efficient than they usually are from 3. I think we're going to see a low tempo, and I think this game ends in the 135 range as opposed to 145.5.
I mean, great analysis, honestly. I know zero about those teams, to be completely honest, but that was some good analysis for sure.
Oh, I'm actually showing this up at 146.5 on DraftKings now.
Okay.
This is a number that's moving all over the place.
Okay.
So let me change that on the screen real quick, and then I'm going to go take a peek at the audience leans for favorite bet of the day.
Samford is a bad 3-point shooting team for how much they like to shoot the 3 ball.
Yes, they are. They're a very good rebound team.
31%.
I think that's actually another thing that could help this under is offensive rebounds from Samford. Keep the game out of transition. So let's see where the audience is at. So the 5 options that we had for audience game of the day were Duquesne -2, which won with 43% of the vote. That's 16 votes. Colorado State -5.5 had 12 votes. Clemson +3 had 5, and St. John's +11, NC State +6.5, each finished with 2. So I will throw up the Duquesne -2 as the audience leading the game. No clue why everybody left Duquesne.
I'm with the public on that one. I like Duquesne as well. They're on my lean sheet, so I don't know if I'm betting it yet, but I like this Duquesne team.
I honestly don't know how much I can tell you about Duquesne. Oh, they're playing Fordham. That's a good sign.
Fordham's a little bit better this year than they were terrible.
They have talent, but I watched them a couple times at the beginning of the year, and the chemistry issues were terrible. It's another team with a lot of transfers. I don't exactly know how the chemistry issues have resolved themselves over the last couple of weeks for Fordham. Model likes Duquesne.
The line sketches me out. Why is 6 and 7 Duquesne favored at 8 and 5 Fordham? That sketches me out.
I think Duquesne's played a little tougher schedule.
Duquesne's also played recently, and Fordham hasn't played in 2 weeks, so which might be a good thing or bad thing, like we talked about.
Yeah. But all right.
I'll probably stay away from that game, but I do like Duquesne with the public there, surprisingly. So let's go, boys.
Yeah. So we've got about 5 minutes or 3 minutes, I suppose. I mean, my plan, I'm sure Crab's plan is, I'm sure a lot of other people's plan is to go hop into the Book It Sports stream as soon as we are done. We got a couple minutes to kill. Anybody in the chat have any games you have questions about, or Chase, Crabs, anything you want to talk about?
No, I'm happy to talk about a couple games though.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, for sure. Go Hokies tonight. I gotta throw that in there again. Go Hokies, fuck UVA. They're fraudulent this year. This is the worst UVA team in a minute. Go Hokies tonight. They win by 20.
You heard it here first.
I'm biased.
Hokies by 20. Not biased, not wearing school
I'm
merch.
biased opinion, not wearing a VT shirt right now.
So what about this Central Florida? Seems to be a game that a couple people are talking about. They are hosting Memphis today.
That Memphis team is impossible to cap.
Yes, I agree.
They're impossible to cap, man. Gosh.
Just don't know what you're going to get from them.
You just don't know. They could literally beat anybody or lose to anybody. They're so talented, but sometimes they just melt. I mean, I lean UCF at home in that game, but I'm definitely not going anywhere near that with my money, to be completely honest.
They're also an impossible team to bet totals on, too. Some days they'll play their Penny Hardaway defense that they've played in the last 2 years, and then sometimes you'll get an 80, 90-point game easily.
Yeah, no, I think the Memphis team, it's just as far as where they look at their best day versus where they are on their worst day, is one of the most drastic differences in the entire country.
Yeah, they're kind of on my no bet list right now. I just can't get a read on them.
Yep, I'm with you. So the thought is no thought.
The thought is probably stay as far away from that game.
I mean, and sometimes that's the smartest betting decisions you can make. Is don't force action on a game that you don't have a good read on. So I think we're gonna go. Oh, Garrett says I'm not ready for Trent's chat today. I might hide it.
As long as Lauren doesn't hop on, it shouldn't be too gross of a chat.
No, chat gets bricked up when Lauren hops on. Chase, do you ever tune into Trent's stream?
Not too often. No, I'm usually working. That's the issue. But I have a couple times, and I always watch the clips on Twitter.
Next time you got a big bet, you got to hop on there and give your pitch.
And give it
get serious clout, man, or you'll get absolutely roasted when it loses.
Or both.
I don't know this to be true, but I worry that Trent doesn't like Action Network people because of his own company that he's been starting. But it worries me of him letting
Action Network's the GOAT, man. I love that app.
I'd be happy to hop on though.
And no, Garrett's
Dr.
completely right.
Wagner.
You get roasted even if you win. I love Ben's compilations when he goes on and people just make all these random shit comments, like "Go comb your hair, weirdo."
Yeah, some funny shit. I love how he always posts them though on his TikToks.
Oh,
after he hit.
I'm sure people do it intentionally now just to try and get into TikTok. Ben versus the public with the Chiefs and Canadian God. Drew Lock. I don't even know who Drew Lock is.
Ben sold me on that game, man. I tailed him. He gave a great pitch on that Denver team, and I cannot believe I put my money on Drew Lock, but worked out well.
No, it did work out. Our model almost had the exact correct score in that game. We were off by less than 1.5 points for each team.
Trust the model, man.
Trust the model. Except for when it's
Well-
wrong. Then you go on social media afterwards and bash the model.
Hey, can I ask what the model has in that Cal Washington game?
Yeah.
It's going to cost you.
I've got Cal by 5.
Beautiful.
Although somebody was saying that there's an injury on Cal.
Oh, is there?
What do you guys use to check college basketball injuries? Because it's rocket science. Try to figure out who's playing.
I agree.
My go-to for like the last year and a half had been covers. I'll drop the link in the chat.
Cover. Is that an app? Website?
It's the website here. I threw the link in the Twitch chat. I can send it to you on Twitter also.
Yeah, send that to me, man. It's like finding a needle in a haystack trying to figure out these injuries.
Yeah, but they've let me down a couple times in the last couple weeks. Like with injury news just not updating. Like players who they have listed as out are back. And
Well, that's scary.
so I'm a little sketched right now. But I think it is that time. Let's see if Trent is streaming. No, Trent's not streaming yet. Oh yeah, he is. All right. So thank you all for being here. We're gonna wrap it up. Make sure you go follow both of these guys on Twitter. Chase is at @ChaseHowell_. Krabs is at Krabs with a K_bets. Go follow both of them. Thank you both of you for joining me on the stream today, especially Krabs as a kind of last second pinch hitter. Been at a doctor's appointment, couldn't make it. Appreciate it very much. Thank you to the chat for being here. Big numbers today. Appreciate all of you. Appreciate the good vibes that we had. Good vibes only. Good discussion. Thank you to all of the follows. And if you haven't followed but you enjoyed the stream, be sure to drop a follow. You get notifications for when we're live. Let's go watch some more sports betting content.
Yeah, on to the next one, right? Hey, seriously, thanks for having me on, guys. And anytime you need another pitch hitter, let me know. I'm there.
Yeah, so we'll reach out. But I want to start doing more of these streams. So we have Wednesday, Saturday with Ben and Chase and I. But I know that both of them have a little bit busier schedules than I do with a lot of things. I'd like to start doing some more collaborative streams, just like bring in different members of the community in on different days, and just have the more like hour-long discussion based about a couple games type content. I really enjoy doing this. This is a lot of fun.
I'm there, man. Hit me up.
Yeah. All right.
I'm rolling over to Trent's stream. I appreciate you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff, boys.
We'll catch you next time.
Catch you guys. Go Hokies.